Hello, everyone. It's Professor Presley here. Hope you guys have had a great week. I just wanted to talk to you guys about the upcoming week, Series 3.2, the creative process in doing inquiry. If you go to the Series 3.2 link, you'll see an introductory video. You'll see a plan your week with the things that you have to do this week. This is a, a text by Cynthia Holler that you'll have to read to answer one of your reflection questions. So make sure you read this text. And then as you go through the rest of the series, you will see that you have a source annotation and analysis assignment and a revised proposal assignment, along with your reflection, which will take place in your portfolio. So I have created some notes for you that can kind of help you navigate this week's assignments. And I'll put a link to this in the announcement. But basically, you're going to be doing three things. So the first thing is a source annotation and analysis. It's due via discussion post on Wednesday. So the first thing you're going to do is find a source that you can use to sort of write your proposal with. So I have this source. It's just a random source that I'm using for part of my dissertation. And I created a link to it. So if you were to click on this, you would go to a link. It actually is, this is the link. So it actually is a web version of the article. So that's one of the requirements. And then you have all these questions to answer about your source. So what is your source? Is it a book, magazine, article, Instagram post? And you can combine some of these questions together into one response. But these are all the things that you should address about your source um, in your discussion posts. So it'll be a little lengthy, but this is all getting you to a point where you can narrow down some sources for your final project. Okay, so that's due Wednesday. Second thing you're going to do is your revised proposal. This is due Sunday, the 27th. So you're going to talk about a lot of different things here with your proposal. You're going to talk about your felt difficulties, your lines of inquiry, and some of this stuff you did last week as far as your lines of inquiry are concerned. You're talking about your discussion of your personal connection or interest and your question that connects to a prior experience. And this is also something that you talked about in your previous draft. Now you're going to have three sources. So one of the sources you had in your previous assignment, the source annotation, now you're just going to add two more sources to that. And your sources have to include one academic source, one popular source, and one video. So one like scholarly article, one like web article, and then one video or audio source. You do a short summary of each source that outlines the key points, conclusions. You do a critical analysis of each source. That includes a brief discussion of the credibility of your source and the relationship of your source to your question. All right, and there's a video about credibility of sources in this week's module. And then you'll have a short discussion about what your next steps will be as you continue to investigate your question. All right, this is all about literacy and identity and your lines of inquiry. So whatever your questions were in your lines of inquiry, this is kind of where you're jumping off at. All right, and then your final assignment is your reflection that you do every week in your portfolio. So that'll be due next Sunday as well. So once again, you have to read the holler text to answer this question. Did it help you think about sources differently? And number two, do you like the way that she presented her book chapter as a conversation? And then finally, what do you think is the most important thing to keep in mind as you begin integrating sources into your writing? So this week's video is going to be kind of short because these are the three things you have to do. It's kind of straightforward. It's a lot of writing. It's a lot of thinking about your project. And it's a lot of coming up with sources. So researching different sources that you can use for your project. But once again, this is all here. So if you just want to use this as an outline for uh, this week's series, feel free to do that. As always, email me if you have any questions. If you want to see me during office hours this week, just email me and I will set that up. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, depending on what section you're in. And the Google Meet link is in my bio. All right, you guys have a great rest of your weekend and a great upcoming week. Take care.